subscribers? 20.
It's ridiculous. 22.
20. I'm sorry, 22. Not 22. 22.
Yeah. Well, after we give away your card, we'll have 22 and 1.
Yep. Well, yes. So, guys, I apologize. We have fans texting me. Is there a show today? Let me just say yes. We are live now. Had some technical difficulties. Are we across all the platforms, the dance schools, the gymnastic schools, the martial arts schools, like we talked about?
That's not even funny. That's not even funny. Are you banging on other consultants right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
All right. He's not seeing us anywhere. Where are we live?
MAIA Edge.
MAIA Edge.
Hey, if you guys, Mr. Birch, Ms. Crow, Kessler, Blackman, Mr. Olson, Manilli, where are you guys watching from? Would be curious. What page are you guys on?
Yeah, not town.
Yeah, we don't need to know what
town.
You
don't need to know you're from Michigan.
Because this stuff works in all towns.
Exactly. All right. So, hey, welcome everyone. There we go.
Edge.
Facebook. They're watching.
Very good, Mr. Olson. Thank you.
MAIA Edge. Bill Birch is watching from the bathroom.
Thank you, Mr. Birch. Very good. Hey, that's a good opener. Next time, we'll just have to ask what room they're watching from.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just curious. What are you guys wearing right now?
Post a pic of where you're at right now. All right. Welcome. Oh, look. Chris Clark.
Mr. Clark.
From Wedgefield. Hey, Clark, take a look at Graham McDowell. He's tied for second right now.
Hey, because you yell doesn't mean he can hear you better.
Hey, Chris. Oh, man. McElroy, though, took a big jump. All right. Graham's my man. All right, guys. Well, welcome, everybody. Good to see. Hey, the Arnold Palmer Invitational is going on right now for all you golf fans. But Tass, we're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about do seminars really help you grow, and a little recap of the All Systems Go.
And to put that in context, what kind of seminars are you referring to?
Any business or seminar where you can learn new drills on the floor. Business seminars, whether they're martial arts specific or not, just general business seminars. Here's the thing. Of course they help you grow, but let's talk about this, and let's talk about a mindset for all of you up here, because I know by the end of this show, you're all going to be rushing to sign up for something from MAIA. You know that. Tess, why don't you just go ahead and do the pitch now?
Yeah, if you just drop your credit card number in, we'll just charge you for the appropriate program we think you're eligible for.
Yeah.
And make sure you put your expiration CVC and your name as it appears on the card, please.
Thank you. And address that associates with the building. So anyway.
Dude, but hold on a second. Did you ever close that way back in the day? Like when you just had one option people could pay, like it's $100. Do you ever hard close? You're like, Ms. Smith, so how'd you want to take care of that? Cash, check, or credit card? Which is best?
I never did hard sales like that, Tess. I was brought up differently than you.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
When somebody says, hey, I need to talk to my husband, I remind them what year we're in and ask them who wears the pants. You know what I mean?
Dude, you want to know something before we jump into this?
Yeah.
When I was in health club sales.
Yes.
This is how I never did this, but this is how I was trained by another sales guy.
Write this down.
If a dude came in and he was there and we were selling $19 and $29 health club memberships, and if they didn't want to sign up, think about this, on a $19 a month program. I know there's inflation. This was 20 years ago. But the sales guy said, here's what you do. You take him in the locker room, you have him take his shirt off and say, if you can look in the mirror and tell me you don't need this, you don't have to sign up. That was cutthroat sales, baby. I never did that.
He only did that with the
your shirt and your shorts, and then if you tell me.
He only did that with the guys?
Only no, not with the guys.
Oh, gotcha. I gotcha. All right. Oh yeah, look, Miss Ramos. I don't know if some of you guys know this before we get you, but business is business. And Miss Ramos wants to know if Metzger is consulting in the dog training business. Miss Ramos, I wish you were on right now. You can tell what happened with that and how they called you and set you up for a trial and told you which program would be best for you and your dog, and you got hook, line, and sinker with that.
Well, maybe not. If they deliver value, then it was worth it.
Hey, by the way, Jeff Curry said Tass took off his own shirt and threatened them to sign up.
Right.
No, actually, when Tass took off their shirt, they realized they didn't need to sign up and they would leave. So anyway, thanks. Thank you, Tass.
All right.
What to say when you just get quiet and shake your head?
This is getting a little out of hand. Let's just get to the topic.
All right, let's talk business, everyone. First of all, we had our MAIA Elite All Systems Go event Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We had a CMA affiliate day on Sunday, and then a big party on Sunday night. Hey guys, it was a great time. We had CNC Music Factory, Rob Bass. There was an open bar, food, hors d'oeuvres walking around. We had 330 martial artists in that room. You know,
it was not at the Music Factory. We actually had CNC Music Factory come out and perform.
That's right. Yes.
If you don't know, open another tab and just Google that. If you guys don't know, if you're like under 30.
Somebody big in the industry asked us where the Music Factory was. But anyway, let's talk. So, hey, here's a concept for all of you guys, right? We're talking about do attending seminars really help my school grow? That's part of a question. That's part of a context. Here is what we see in the industry. Let me just call it out. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of consultants. There's a lot of information, right? If you are a true entrepreneur and you're a true business owner, here's the question you have to ask yourself. Is it an investment or is it an expense? And of course you understand, you've heard that before, but we could say these great little lines, right? Like it's an investment, not an expense. We can like these little phrases, but most of us don't live by those phrases. So for example, right? Our seminar cost, I think it was $299 if you wanted to attend and see what it's all about. The question isn't like, you know, $299, $300. Then I got to get airfare. Let's say that was $300. That's $600. The hotel room was another $200. So I'm at $800. Let's round it up to $1,000. I got to pay $1,000, but I don't know if these guys really can teach me anything or how much they can teach me, or not these guys, but all of our team. You know, I really believe we have the best in the business because we have specialists in each area. Chris Rodriguez on the digital marketing, myself, Tassoul, Adam Parman on after school and summer camps for those of you who run those. Mr. Kurt Klingenmeyer, who really specializes in the smaller schools, getting you up over 100 students and getting you to 20 grand a month minimum. You know, depending on where you're at, we have different people in different spots. The question is what can you find something that you're going to learn at a seminar or in a program or whatever, or from information that for the rest of your life, you're now going to have more knowledge. Will you get a return on that $1,000? That's the question you need to ask yourself, right? Well, then you got to ask yourself, well, how much is one student worth in my school? You know, over the course of a lifetime of a student, right? So maybe it's worth $1,800. Maybe it's worth $1,000. If one student is worth $1,000 of their lifetime as an average number, can you get one more student than you wouldn't have gotten by attending a seminar, right? You all know the answer. The answer is yes. And by the way, we were sold out. So you know I'm not pitching a seminar that just ended. We were sold out, could not take any more people. We were completely full. But of course it's worth it. But the question isn't about a seminar. The question is about, well, in our case, because this is our show, we can pitch anything we want, baby. We got MAIA Foundation starting next Wednesday, and it's, I think, $595 one time, one payment. It's a 2-month program, only 2 months, one payment. Who wouldn't invest 500? And by the way, with 100% money back guarantee, 100% money back guarantee. Who wouldn't invest $595? That's with the discount, by the way, to see if this is something that potentially can change the trajectory of their business. But don't just stay and be married to the MAIA family. You should do that with all the consultants out there, depending on the price point, to see if this is something that can potentially change the trajectory of your business. It's a no-brainer to get out there and seek knowledge. Tass, your thoughts? Thank you, Tass. Moving on with questions. Okay, no, go ahead, Tass.
Back in the day, when my parents were in the supermarket business, they'd bring their managers and their people to a lot of seminars. And, one of the things here, so you said investment versus an expense. Someone wrote on here, if you can write it off, it's an investment. Okay. But at the end of the day, an investment can be an expense. It can be an expense. And this is my father's point back in the day, is he would take his team, all of his store managers, assistant managers, all of his key people, department heads, everybody to these seminars. And there was this rah-rah for a couple of days. And they got back and they were excited. And then over time, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that excitement starts to wear off. And what, he had said something to me, at that time. He said, here's the thing. It's what you do after that seminar that determines the success in your business. And really what he was trying to say is, if you just go to these seminars, right, and you get back and you don't execute, that becomes an expense. That's my opinion. It becomes an expense because you had this time, you went, you learned, you got information, you're an information junkie maybe, but you don't execute. Well, then your time would have been better spent somewhere else. And so I think that's one of the biggest things. And, from a seminar perspective, I've done lots of seminars outside of the martial art industry and some really good seminars. I also think, and I may be alone on this, but I think it takes a pretty special person to go to a seminar outside of your industry, get that information. You can be inspired by it and you can make all the sense in the world, but then try to take that back to your own business and trying to make that work inside your own business sometimes can feel like you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. And that's what can happen. So I'm a big fan, and I think all seminars, anything that you can do to better yourself, right, I think is great. When it comes to business, if I was going to, be in the dog training business, right, I can go to any business seminar that I want, but I would get the most value out of going to the successful dog trainers who have done it before me and have a system for that. And it just makes more sense. So as opposed to getting like blown away with all the glitz and glamour of what these other business seminars do, which things may be great, the ideas may be great. Or let me give an example. Tony Robbins, right? Business mastery. Haven't been to the seminar, but heard a lot about it. And talks about, here I'm going, it must be in my DNA where I just talked about like numbers, right? But tracking stats, that's fantastic. But then you go back to your own business, but you have no idea what stats to track. You understand stats are important to track, but when you get back to your own business, you don't know what to do. So I think business specific seminars are unbelievable. Anything that we can do, by the way, doesn't mean the other ones aren't, but anything that we can do to get ourselves in a new mindset. But I think the most successful seminars are those seminars that inspire you to go back and take action and execute. And then when you see what you've executed, how it's affecting your business, now you're ready to go back for more, get more, go back and implement, and then rinse and repeat. But I know a lot of people, they get back from seminars and they get overwhelmed. They've got pages of notes, too much stuff. They don't know what to do or where to start. They push it to the side and they don't do anything. And that's where it becomes an expense.
Look, so what's interesting and what I've seen, Tass, is people don't take action. It's not necessarily because you're lazy, right? We're not lazy. We're just not proactive enough. we're not proactive. We are programmed to be reactive by nature, right? We typically wait for things to happen. We like to just hope our phone rings and we will answer it and we will set an appointment. But what if the phone's not ringing and you got to make it? You got to make appointments and it's not ringing. People are not walking in. Are you becoming proactive and doing things? And it's like this. Look, there's not a person watching this. I know there's not. I mean, I don't believe there's a person watching this right now that doesn't think, for example, in this case, MAIA Foundations, which I told you is like 2 payments of $297 or 590, whatever it is, 96 bucks, 94, 5, whatever it is, total. There's not a person on here that can, I don't think you would believe that it wouldn't generate you more revenue in your school. So then we start thinking of excuses, right? We start thinking of excuses on why we wouldn't do this or try it with, again, 100% money back guarantee, because maybe we know ourselves and we know, well, I don't know if I'm going to really be on the call for an hour to learn this stuff. I don't know if I'm really going to take action and put it into use. Or some of you will go deeper down the rabbit hole and say, they're just all about the money. You know, I'm not going to be that school that just tries to make money. You'll start coming up with do you want to grow your business or do you not want to grow your business? That's it. And if you really want to grow your business, if you say, yes, I do, well, why? What does that mean? So all of you watching right now, if you were to do an extra $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $50,000 a month, if you were to, what does that mean?
$5,000 a month for some of you.
$2,000 more a month. What does that mean? Like, why do you want to grow your business? Well, I need to make more money. Why? You have to paint a picture for yourself on why. What does that mean? Is it, well, I won't have to take Ubers to work anymore? I could buy a car? Does it mean I can get out of this apartment? I can buy a house? Does it mean I can hire this volunteer who's been with me since they were 6 years old and they're 24 now and they've always wanted a career with me and now I can finally hire them? I mean, what does it mean? You got to paint a picture. And if you paint the picture, try us. Try us out on Foundations if you haven't done it and see what you don't know, right? And by the way, I'm saying that because this is our show. But try all the different consultants if they have some kind of low price point entry level where you can get an idea of what it is that they do, what it is they teach, if you believe in it or not, if you understand it or not. But if you really want to grow, you're no different than Tassoul, you're no different than me, and you're no different than everybody else that has tried Foundations or any of our other programs. We all have a story. I mean, that's what I was saying over this last weekend. We all have our story of where we started, where we came from, what got us to do the next level. So I understand where you're at. And Tass, you know, I mean, you could say your story, but my story was my parents co-signed. I was like 17 years old when I started my company, right? And I got into a shopping plaza at 17 and then at 21 years old. So now I'm 3-4 years into this. And it was my mother who sat down and said, Mike, what are you doing? And I said, what do you mean, what am I doing? She goes, you have a girlfriend now for 4 years because I'm married to my high school sweetheart, right? My wife. But at the time, she's like, you've been with Diana for like 4 years now. You're running this school, but you go into work at 4 in the afternoon. You start teaching classes. You're done at 9. What are you doing? I said, what do you mean? She goes, you need to make a decision. Do you want a hobby or do you want to run a business? And I said, knowing what my mom wants to hear, I said, well, I want to run a business. She says, then get your ass together, get your shit together, and get your ass to this seminar. And it was a seminar, ironically, which is the topic of this show. And she handed me this flyer of a martial arts business seminar that was coming to Orlando. And I said what a lot of you say. What are they going to teach me? I said, now at the time, in NASCA, right? The ISKA, the World Championships. I had world champions that I had in the school. Our demo team was on stage at the US Open. We were on television, on ESPN. We were the best at what we did in the competition world. But I wasn't making great money necessarily. By the way, did I say that I was still living at home with my parents? I was 21. I was still at home. So I'm like, you know, what are they going to do? So I went to the seminar and I was blown away because they had some workout sessions. I was blown away at the high level of martial arts that some of these people were, and the revenue and the professionalism that they had. That by itself changed the trajectory of my business for the rest of my life. That one seminar is what made me go into a whole different direction. So if it wasn't for my mother, I would have been continuously reactive and not gone. And I was reactive because I had a mother who said, you're going to this seminar, even at 21. I wasn't going to be proactive and say, hey, I'm going to just go to this seminar. But I'm telling you, if you're serious about growing your school, click the link and give us a shot to show you what we can teach you to instantly. And that's one of the things that I like to pride ourselves on. I don't like to give you rhetoric and concepts that over time, I want to, after the first call on Wednesday, that night, when you sign up a student, you will instantly start making more money. That night. Like instantly. I like to give you things that will directly and immediately impact your business. And I'd love to give you that shot. I mean, if you're serious about growing your business, if you're not serious about growing the business and you just want to teach and I don't want to change, I don't want to do the stuff, I don't want to put in the work on the business side, I just like teaching. I respect that. I understand that. Do not click the link. I get it. Right. But Tass, I mean, you have a story.
Yeah, it's not sexy. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, just real quick. I mean, you know, I was running my martial arts for years, but you know, and I would dive into things, everything that I could get my hands on, and you know, and I couldn't get the information fast enough. And sometimes the danger in getting information. And Met said it. He said, "Go look at this person or this consultant or that consulting company or this consulting company." But when you find the one that resonates with you, that's where you got to go all in. And why I say that is because if you've got, let's just use an example of 3 different consulting companies, and they all have, I don't know, I use puzzles as an example. They all have their puzzles, right? They're good looking puzzles. The problem is that if I take pieces from this puzzle and try and put them together, they don't work. I can't put the puzzle together, right? So oftentimes in our industry, I think some of us are guilty of this actually, where we listen to too many people and we're trying to take and pull ideas and we don't understand maybe the underlying systems and the base systems. We're getting a snapshot of something, but we're getting a 20,000 foot view, but we're not getting necessarily like the whole picture, right? It's just a snapshot in time. And so, you know, when you find that person, that company, that's when you need, when they resonate with you, that's when you go all in and you follow that to a T, because that's where you're going to get I think the most bang for your buck. You know, I came, you know, going through my school, I think, you know, I opened my school, I was 19 years old. And I love martial arts, man. And the money thing was secondary, right? As long as I could pay the bills. I remember my first school, I was actually paying out of my pocket $500 a month to run my school because I didn't have enough revenue coming in. And long story short, years later, I mean, you're talking 10, 15 years later, things were okay, but, you know, trying to support a family and trying to, you know, do all the things that we need to do and trying to generate revenue just wasn't working. It was so bad, you know, that I couldn't pay my mortgage for my house. And that was my sole source of income. And I was always the guy, you know, my parents would be like, Shane, what do you do for a real job? I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a real job, but the money wasn't there as a real job. But I was too stubborn. I didn't have a plan B. I always had a plan A. And my plan A was I was going to make the martial arts school work. And sometimes stubbornness gets in the way. But I didn't make my mortgage payment for 20 or 21 months. I was in foreclosure. You know, my credit cards were maxed to the 9. I mean, I had to file bankruptcy. I had an IRS debt of $150,000 because I didn't understand business. And I was keeping the payroll expenses from my employees, giving them the net check, but I never paid the IRS, you know, their taxes. Dumb mistakes that obviously have crawled out of and gotten out of all those things. But had I known, I always say this, like, man, if I knew now, and we all say this in life, but if I knew now at 21 what I know now.
No, if you knew then what you know now.
Yeah, exactly. If I knew when I was 21 years old what I know now, I would absolutely be light years ahead of where I'm at today. And it can happen for anybody. But look, Matt said earlier about, getting on a plane, paying a plane ticket, the hotel, and you can do all that stuff. But the great part with technology today, it used to come in VHS tapes, and it used to come, and then CDs and DVDs, and you listen to all these different people. And I remember going to martial arts school, and I saw 15 months of the MAIA boxes stacked up and still in the cellophane that were never open. I'm like, dude, you haven't opened these? He's like, no, I'll get around to it. That's not an investment. That's an expense. I was devouring that information. But guess what? I was accountable. I'm the only one that could do it, right? I had the kit. I had to plug in the stuff, watch the stuff. But with technology today and jumping on, a Zoom call where you've got other people, it's more like a live seminar, but you're online. You don't got to pay for a plane ticket. You don't have to pay for a hotel room. You jump on, you interact with people. The technology that we have today and the resources there are today to take yourself to the next level is second to none. And it can't, maybe they'll get easier in the future. I don't know how, unless you're going to put on like VR goggles and some crazy stuff's going to happen. But it's so simple and so easy to get the information, but it really is up to you to execute and implement. And here's what I want to say. We say this all the time. What got you to where you are is not going to get you to where you want to go. And you got to understand that. What got you to where you are today, I don't care where you are today in your business, it's not going to get you to where you want to go. And some of you don't want to hear that. Some of you don't believe that. Some of you are like, no, we'll be fine. I'm just going to go enroll more students. It's not your problem. That's a small part of the problem. That's not the issue. It's the systems and procedures that you've been using are only going to get you so far. And that's why it's important to make sure that you're asking for help. And not because we know any better, but it's just because we've dealt with hundreds, and that's probably for you thousands of schools by this point, and know that it works in every town, every place. I have a new client that I'm working with. I have a page of Facebook, right, telling me about his town and where he's at, and I don't know if this is going to work in my town. I was on another call. Both of these calls are today. Another client, yeah, we're just a little bit nervous about this X, Y, and Z. And their median income for their area is higher than what my area is. You guys just don't know what you don't know. It works everywhere, and we can help with that. And it would be, look, we get passionate about it because we just know we can help. But you have to be willing and want to be helped. Nobody's going to be able to force you. We can tell you exactly what to do and talk you through it and hold your hand. But we cannot come and do it for you, right? And you have to be the one to take action. And then there's this trust factor. And this is, I think, another thing in the industry. You have to be able to trust the people that you're working with. When I work with a client, they've got hundreds of questions. And those questions are questions for down the road. And I know what the questions already are, but I don't need to answer those right now. We have to answer the questions and do the things that are in front of us. And eventually we'll get to that point. But we already know what's going to happen. What's going to happen with my existing clients? What's going to happen with this? We already know. Like, we got you. We got your back. We're going to take care of you guys. It's going to be okay. So, yeah, man, I think we can preach all we want. We've had people come on and talk about their success. We'll have a plethora more of people over the course of the year.
What of people?
Plethora.
A plethora?
Yes. Do you want to look that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it plethora or plethora?
Did it not come through?
You're from Wisconsin. Your accent made it sound.
Bagel.
Sounded like you said plethora.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Which you did. And by the way, I don't know if it's distracting to the audience that I kind of look like a raccoon today. Did
you not get your makeup done today?
No, and Perry didn't set up the big sunbeam light to put a little, look horrible. And you're sitting in the dark for some reason with candles.
Trying to make it a romantic setting.
But anyway, not to interrupt. So plethora of people.
Yes. It's the cheese. Yes, it's the cheese, Mr. Johnson. At any rate, you made me lose track of where I was.
That's
The
okay.
point is that we've dealt with this before. We know what you're going to ask. We know the questions you're going to ask, and we will take care of you guys. And you have to find someone that you can trust. And why should you trust me? Why should you trust any of us or Metzger? Well, it's just because we've been down the same road and we've made all the same mistakes, and we've listened to the other mistakes that other people have made in their businesses and their schools. And it's just, I get passionate. I was on the phone with Mr. Johnson. I see him on here today, and he asked me some questions, and he said it. He's like, I can hear the passion in your voice. And I do. I get passionate, and sometimes it comes across as yelling, right? But I'm passionate. Why? Because however Mr. Johnson does in his school has zero impact on me financially. Zero. Whether he does great, whether he doesn't do great, has zero impact on me or any of my clients. But what does have an impact is when we're in Orlando at an event and we're surrounded by clients who are telling us their success stories of where they were and where they are now. And the feeling of being able to help somebody change their life forever, there's nothing that can replace that. And that's why I do what I do. I mean, and that's why Metz does what he does. But it's paying it forward. And there's nothing in comparison to knowing when someone's 3 months away from closing their school and now they're grossing $40,000, $50,000 a month in their school. And we can tell you story after story after story of people this happens with, but they're the true heroes because they're the ones that realized where they were. They knew they needed to change. We simply gave them the information, and they're the ones who execute. We don't execute. It's you guys that are executing the information. And that's the difference between those clients that are very successful and those people that don't make change, is they just don't make change because there's always an excuse.
Mr. Birch, give me permission if I can read that text message or not. Just let me know. Give me a thumbs up or something if I can, or a thumbs down if you don't want me to share that with the martial arts industry. And Tass, people don't always believe what they hear, but I know they believe more about what they read. So while I'm just waiting for permission.
Yes, sir. Oh, did I leave that down there?
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you knew I had it.
Hey, feel free to use it until I come back, man.
Thank you. By the way, this is for all my clients. Thank you. Hey, everybody, listen.
Those are the affirmations we say when we're on client calls, and you're like, it won't work in my town.
Hey, in all seriousness, let me read this. This is why I do. I'm going to thank you, Mr. Birch. I'm going to read this text message I got because it really hit me. This text really hit me. Here it is. So, first of all, I want to say this. Any of you that belong to a consulting group, ours included, you'll always go to a seminar and hear the success stories. But one of the things that I try to do, and Tass, you were one of these people, and I've had so many. How many consulting programs were you with, Tass, before you tried MAIA?
Well, I was with.
Yeah. We're not going to mention names.
Did you really think I was going to do that?
No, but I wanted to make that sound.
All right, good. And then I was with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Gosh, man, four, I think, three or four different consulting companies.
3 or 4 different consulting companies. We get people like they get some of our people, right? And if you're grossing $5,000 a month and you go to grossing $15,000 a month, you're going to swear by the group. You're going to say, oh, these guys are unbelievable. They are the best. They are this, they are that. I love those clients because I love showing them what they didn't know and how much more they can be making and how much easier they can be making it, right? As far as revenue goes for their business, right? We had over 6 people. Were you in the room when I asked how many people broke $1 million in revenue last year in their location, right?
I was just going to say I'm processing because I don't think any of them had after school or summer camp.
No after school programs, no summer camp revenues. Not that that's bad, but that's not where my job is, right? For people who want to do that, there's consulting groups out there. We have Adam Parman who crushes that, right? Because I look at that as a whole separate business, right? But how would you like to do over 1 million? Now, again, we had over 300 people, school owners and stuff at our event, but over a half a dozen did over 1 million. We had, I mean, the majority of doing 600, 700, 800, I mean, just whatever. But that's one of the things that I like. I mean, of course, you're going to sing the praises when you're doing well, but are you doing the best you can be is the question. Now, check this out. Thank you, Mr. Birch. I got a text. So Mr. Birch was at our event. He's in the wealth program now with MAIA, which is all about wealth building, has nothing to do with the school business. And he's been in MAIA now for like 4 years, maybe 4 years. Yeah, 18, I think, because this text message was October of 17. I think it was the Super Show of 18, 19, 20, 4 years. All right. So anyway, he was talking to me after the event and he said, do you remember how I got started with you guys? And I said, yeah, I remember. You were in Vegas at the Super Show and I spent over 2 hours trying to convince you that we really can help you. We can help your school. And you, for 2 hours, weren't sure. You were thinking about it. And then you finally said, okay, but I can't tell my wife I'm doing this right now. And he goes, well, no, that's not how I got started. Before that, he said, he goes, my wife kept telling me, you got to watch these guys on Facebook. You got to watch this Metzger Tassoul show. And he was saying, honey, and this is what he told me. Why? I don't want to watch the guy. I mean, what are they going to teach me? That's what he said. Same thing I said, same thing everyone probably says. She goes, no, you really need to watch them. He said they were laying around one night and she said, look, just watch this show. These guys are funny. Thank you, Miss Birch. These guys are funny and they have some good information. Just watch it. So she made me watch your show, he said. And it was when we talked about coloring sheets, right? Oh, that's what he said. Yeah. So excuse me. He said, what are they going to show me? Right. Well, anyway, whatever we talked about on that show, Mr. Birch said, I did what you said. I told my wife it's not going to work, but I signed up 3 new students from that. And he goes, we never signed up 3 students. He goes, then I did not know it. He goes, but my wife sent you a message, Mr. Metzger. I go, your wife sent me a message? I go, wives send me messages all the time, Birch. I'm kidding. That's a joke, everyone. That's part of the funny part of the show. I said, well, what is your wife's name? Let me see if it's still there. He said, you know, his wife's name. I won't say it in case you guys start blowing her up or something. But anyway, so I looked it up and I found it. This was October 19th, 2017 at 12 p.m. Check this message out, everybody. Hi, Mike. My name is Tammy Birch. My husband and I have owned a karate school for almost 30 years. We're 3 months from closing. We cannot get students in the door. We have no money to advertise. I know you have the consulting company, but right now we can't afford to even pay ourselves. Is there any way you can talk to my husband and help us? My husband does not know anything else.
So much for not giving away her name.
There you go. And I said, no, leave me alone. I don't know who you are. No. I said, of course. I said, actually, I was in seminars. Let's set up a call. Here's the deal. Then she told Mr. Birch, hey, we have a call set up to talk with Mr. Metzger, and the rest is history. I would like to think, according to Mr. Birch, his life has changed forever because of that one call. So for him, his story was his wife knew where things were going, was desperate. She became the one who became proactive in seeking it out, just like my mother was the one who was proactive, got the information, found out there was a seminar, and made me go. Just like Tass had tried 4 other consulting companies. I sat with him in Las Vegas for over 2 hours, telling him, I know I can help you. I don't care what the other consultant companies did or didn't do. But after hearing where he's at, hearing his story, I knew I could help. We as a group, I knew, and I was working with him at the time, I knew I would be able to help.
You know, Metz, there's a piece of the story, right? Remember, I worked with him for about 6 months. And then I think it's an important part of the story because I worked with him 6 months before he signed up for anything. How many of you, so when you say we're all about the money, right? And you're just doing it because you guys have an agenda? No, it's because we have passion. How many of you would work with a student for 6 months on your floor and not have them pay a nickel, right? And get them ready to get ready for classes? It's the same thing. And some of us do that, I know, but I want you guys to understand that's exactly what happened with Mr. Birch. I'm not opening the door to work with everybody for free, of course, right? Because I can't handle that. However, what resonated with me and Mr. Birch is that the stories were very similar, number one. Number two, he was an action taker. And when I can talk to somebody for 5 minutes and they go take action, it beats talking to anybody for an hour who's not going to take any action at all. So that's why. And again, he's the true hero, man. Well, his wife is the hero. And then he's the hero for executing and implementing.
Yeah, Birch is like Robin is to Batman.
That's
but
right.
That's so good. He's a superhero too, Mr. Birch.
Right. That's right.
Let's see what the response is. I'm sure there will be one. Anyway, yeah, look, that is right. Shane is right. We are so passionate about changing people's lives. We just want the chance. We just want you to give us the shot to see what we offer, right? And to try it out. And the best way to do this is MAIA Foundations. As we said, 100% money back guarantee, number one. Number two, it's 4 Zoom calls with Shane and I over every other week. So there's 4 calls. So every other week, it's 2 months. Once you pay for the program, I had talked to MAIA about this. I say this all the time, but I said, look, if they want to do it again, I don't want to charge them because I want to make sure that they really get the information. Sometimes when we go through it once, they don't get it all. So if they pay for it, let them do it again because it just keeps repeating these 4 topics, right? We do it live and it's recorded. So if you miss it, you can watch the recording on the Facebook group. But I want to make sure people get it. So once you do it, you can do it over and over and over. You can ask questions because it's the 4 key things that you need to have in your school before you can think about really maximizing your growth, right?
Mr. Johnson sent me a text and said it took him 2 hours with Mr. Birch. It only took me 20 minutes with Mr. Johnson. That's what he sent me as a text.
Very
yes,
good.
sir. That's funny. Hey, listen, I don't know if I've got the standing record, but Metz, I was about 2.5 hours, I think.
There were tears involved. I remember there was a lot of, I lost my voice trying to convince.
And here was Metzger's, you want the best sales line in the world, right? And it wasn't, by the way. He was exhausted. Like, it was at the end of the Super Show weekend. He had talked to me. Then I came back. We had talked for another 2.5 hours, whatever it was. And at the end, he's like, I can, all I can do is tell you, I know I can help. It's up to you whether or not you want to do it. Had I not made that decision 12 years, dude, I don't know, it's 12 years, I think, 12 years ago, I don't know where I'd be, but I'm pretty confident I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And not only with the success of the business, but then the opportunity to be a part of Century and MAIA, the opportunity to do a lot of other things and the people that I've met and the people that I call friends. And I mean, there's a lot of other reasons to do things, right? One of them is money, and one of them is getting out of that place that you're at. But that's just the small part of it. For a lot of us, that seems like it's the overwhelming portion right now because we're just trying to find the next dollar to keep the lights on, keep the doors open, pay the bills, take care of our family at home. And when you can get past that part, the money is important, but more important than that is the relationships and the people that you meet along the way. And that's what's been incredible for me, man. It's just been unbelievable. I'm
Same for me, right? Same thing for me. So guys, everyone gets so scared on a close. Click the link. It's 100% money back guarantee. At least give us a shot to see if we can change your life. If you haven't done foundations, click the link and sign up for foundations. And it starts, like I said, Wednesday at 2 Eastern time, I think, right? Let me look in the calendar. It's 2 Eastern time on Wednesday, March 9th. Wednesday, March 9th at 2 Eastern is the first call of the 4. And once you do it, you can do it again and again and again at no cost. Because
They are live.
Yeah,
I don't know. They are live, and they're also recorded. So if you can't make it, or you do like me, because I'm just a slow learner, you may want to go back and watch the recording several times, you know, to go back and just review or refresh or whatever you need to do. Not that the information is hard and complicated, but sometimes when we're going through information, especially when it's new, it can feel a little bit like, you know, wow, there's a lot coming at me. We break it down, we make it very simple, but you'll always have access to the recordings and be able to go back and watch them anytime that you want to. Or sometimes you now want to go share this with, whether it's if you're a owner operator, maybe it's you and your spouse or your partner, you maybe want to share what you just learned. You're like, but they have all this good stuff. Just now you can go show them the recording. Or if you have staff, you can have the staff watch recording, so everyone's on the same page. And that's why I want to make sure those recordings are there for you guys.
That's it, right? So I hope you had a good time today. Tass, may want to put a light on in there. I got to get some eye makeup. I shaved, right?
Is that a knock on me?
No, I think I need to grow it out, man. I think I need to grow it out a little more. Nope, Connor's saying no. Connor's sitting across from me. Miss Stephanie Connor, everybody. You want to say anything to the folks?
Younger.
Sure. They'd love to see you. No?
I'm not wearing any makeup either.
She's not wearing makeup either. By the way, she trained jiu-jitsu this morning with us.
Oh, nice.
She is a, what, 3-stripe purple? 3-stripe purple belt sitting across the table from me.
Love it.
Martial arts first, guys. That's what got us here. So thank you. What is this? What is this? Took the elite dive after doing foundations. Looks like I'm going to hit a 5-digit month in no time, but I've been implementing. There you go, sir.
Good.
Yep, you will. And like you said, you got to take action. That's the hardest part, is we can't do it for you, but we will definitely guide you
and make it as easy as possible for you to implement and execute.
The first few months are a little bit, you know, because it's change. You got to make some mind shifts a little bit and do things that you just haven't been doing. Because like Tass said, you can't continue doing what you've been doing and expect to get to a different place. So there it is. And look at Tass's shirt. He's wearing a Mets hoodie. And I appreciate it. All right.
I know you don't want to wear your Tass one I gave you, but that's fine.
It's dirty. I wore it yesterday.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We will see everybody next week. Maybe we'll bring on a guest and hear their story.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Let's see. Yes, we can see. All right. Very good. Hey, appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.